one of the big mysteries heading in tonight was given to us yesterday by NXT Anonymous on Twitter as they confirmed there'd be a mystery opponent for Obafemi. We ruled out earlier on it was CM Punk, as he would post on Instagram that it's definitely not him, because right now he has enough problems. Instead, it was TNA superstar Hammerstone. Hammerstone just looks deadly impressive. Putting him in that ring with Obafemi is a sight to behold, and that's exactly the visual that WWE wanted and created tonight against Obafemi. He's got the height, he's got the build to look like a real credible threat against Oba, and that's exactly what he was. I feel like the majority of us knew how this match was going to go, but Hammerstone did get a bit of offense in. He did sort of have those moments where you question if Obafemi had a challenge, but Obafemi was there to highlight his strength, to piss off the watching along family, and Tony D'Angelo was pissed. Do you know what? I kind of hope we get this every single week, that Tony D'Angelo brings out mystery opponents to face Obafemi, because I feel like there was a lot of people who were excited for this to potentially be Omos, to potentially be Moose. Some people were talking about Rhino, although Rhino's definitely not that tall. I feel like there's a lot of names you could utilise in this position as surprise elements. But take nothing away from Hammerstone. He did his job tonight perfectly, and I'm sure for a lot of people, this was the first introduction to Hammerstone, and that's a good thing, because he's really good in TNA. Obafemi would, of course, pick up the win. This is things you might have missed from WWE NXT. Make sure you hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button too. Absolute shocks as the Bloodline was on NXT tonight. At the end of the first match, which didn't have a result, the Bloodline emerged to attack the Street Profits. And can I just say, they look great tonight. Maybe it's the shock factor, because we really didn't expect this, but having them come out, they looked badass, they looked cool. Worth noting, there was no Solo Sikoa, it was just Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa, and Tama Tonga on NXT tonight. But I don't think people miss Solo Sikoa, to be honest. The match they interrupted was the first match of the night, which was the Street Profits versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom. The Street Profits filling in tonight for the Rascalz, who couldn't make NXT. Not to mention that the Street Profits looked as though they was about to win before the Bloodline would attack, continuing and furthering that feud with the Street Profits that we've seen playing out on Friday Night SmackDown. Honestly, I thought this was great. The shock element alone was worth it. I honestly thought this was a great way to start off NXT, and it was commercial free too. More importantly, it remained commercial free for the debut match of Giulia as she took on Chelsea Green. And this match served a great purpose. This was an introduction to Giulia for many fans who have probably never seen her wrestle before. It wasn't a complete squash match by any means, but when Chelsea Green did get offense in, it was pretty much to show off another move of Giulia, and that's perfectly fine. This neck breaker to Chelsea to the outside of the ring looked gnarly. That looked insane. Obviously, that's a move she's probably going to do going forward. And you got to admit, she's obviously watched a lot of NXT. Here's Giulia being thrown on the announce table. And I'm pretty sure she was trying to reach for Vic Joseph's candy there. Giulia would win the match with a Northern Lights bomb. Obviously picking her up, dropping her onto the side and the back of her head. Does look pretty cool, to be fair. Nice finishing move as Giulia has officially arrived. One win under her belt, of course, as we look forward to Chicago for the debut in the CW network as Giulia takes on Roxanne Perez. Here's a question for you. With all the hype, with all the momentum, is Giulia the woman to dethrone Roxanne Perez? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But what do you think CM Punk is cooking? CM Punk posted onto Instagram claiming it was an impressive debut for Giulia, tagging Ava, saying he has an idea and he's going to call and run it by Ava. What has CM Punk got planned for Giulia? I have literally no idea, but that is intriguing. A little bit later on, we'd get the return of Funaki! Oh my god, that was the return we never knew we needed here on NXT, working as, I guess, an interpreter for Giulia, as Roxanne would come in. Perez would talk trash, and Giulia would talk it straight back. No interpreter needed. Where's all those people that said that Giulia can't cut a promo now? We got a new style of creepy vignette tonight. You know it's creepy when there's a stuffed teddy bear, but this was okay. This was obviously Rosemary and Wendy Chu playing those psychological mind games against Lyra and Tatum. The doll's house was there. It was set in a bedroom. I'm not sure if this was meant to be Tatum Paxley's bedroom, but under the bed, lurking, was Rosemary, and behind the door was Wendy Chu. Now, obviously, this was all about creeping them out, talking about the fact that, you can play, but sometimes the worst thing is not having people to play with. And obviously, Wendy Chu ripping the dolls apart, as it sounds like they're going to face off against Tyra next week on NXT. Question I have, why are we not doing this next month? Next month is literally Halloween. This would fit perfectly around Halloween Havoc. Maybe we do something else. Maybe if they got something even bigger planned, that would be cool. Jordynne Grace would host her open challenge tonight, and it would be answered by Soul Ruca. Before the match could finish, though, the lights would go out. When they come back on, it would be Rosemary in the ring, with Wendy Chu applying a sleeper on Jordynne Grace. We implied at least, an attack from Wendy Choo and Rosemary on Jordynne Grace on TNA on Thursday, so obviously this is continuing that feud. We'd then see Tyra sitting in the back, obviously Tatum with her doll's house, so presumably that wasn't Tatum's bedroom and it wasn't her dolls that they destroyed, but nonetheless, in the background was a QR code, so that's interesting. I just find it interesting when you do these creepy characters and, they imply the same thing. The QR code was not scannable. It looks like some kind of advertising board, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't think it's actually anything. I just like the connection because, you know me, I love QR codes. Duke Hudson tonight was looking for revenge for Andre Chase and for Chase University against Ridge Holland. It would be a freak accident, though, to Riley Osborne. Question, are we going back to Ridge Holland inadvertently injuring people storyline, perhaps? But that would allow Ridge Holland to take advantage, to hoist Duke Hudson up in the air, to slam him down and pick up the win. Post-match, Ridge Holland would lay the beat down on Duke immediately, throwing him through the barricade. And guess who watched the Wyatt 6 match last night? That's right, Ridge Holland hoisting the barricade up, dropping it on the back of Duke Hudson, and then using that Redeemer DDT-like move straight onto the barricade, laying out Duke Hudson. Poor Thea Hailman, it was her birthday yesterday, and she has to witness this today. Poor Thea. Wes Lee would claim to be the reason why Trey Miguel couldn't compete tonight and take on Fraxium. He would also challenge Zachary Wentz to a match at CW, so obviously the start of October, on NXT to a street fight. A Heritage Cup match would take place tonight, and you guys know how I feel about this. It's a real shame as well, because Javon Evans is someone who's bouncy. You're meant to be entertained and excited, but every time you felt like that, the match was over because there's a break, and it just reset, and that's a real shame. Well, it did go to round 4, 1-1 to round 5, and the return of Tavion Heights as he would take out Javon Evans, and Charlie Dempsey would retain the cup. I'm just pleased that match is over, I'll be honest. But I am genuinely excited for Tavion Heights to return. The dude's been in Japan, and the clips I've seen on social media, he has been killing it. So hopefully he's going to be able to continue that momentum now on NXT. Trick Williams and Pete Dunne would literally try and kill each other in the main event tonight, which was Last Man Standing. Some very unique spots. Tried to kill a few fans as well. Both men would go to that raised platform on NXT, and both men would go crashing through the tables as Ethan Page would come out desperate not to face Trick. He'd end up going through the announce table, through the candy, and Trick would pick up the win. Worth noting as well, there were 2 trays of candy on the table tonight. 2! Oh my God, what are they doing over on NXT? You don't see this on Raw and SmackDown, do you? But the huge announcement that would end NXT this week. Ava's like the cat that got the cream, isn't she? Next Tuesday on NXT, CM Punk will be live to reveal an announcement about NXT in Chicago. So we'll see what that is. Are we going to predict that maybe Drew McIntyre also shows up on NXT next week with this being previously announced? we'll have to wait and see. Genuinely such a fun show tonight. For me, the Heritage Cup really did bring it down a couple of notches. I just don't like those style of matches with people like Javon Evans, you know. But for me, very fair, 7 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!